What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, back with another NFL record prediction. In this video, I'm breaking down the Arizona Cardinals schedule for the 2021 NFL season, going game by game, pick by pick, matchup by matchup, giving you my thoughts and my analysis on every game on the Cardinals 2021 NFL schedule. Before I give you my record prediction for this season for the Cards, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Bottom Line View NFL record predictions just like this. Pop in that comment section and let me know how you feel the Cardinals will do this season. Do you think they're going to take that next step to the playoffs? Let me know in the comments, and let's break down this schedule. The Cardinals kick off the season in Tennessee. I'm taking the Titans in the opening game. The reason is I think Tennessee will be absolutely going crazy. Their fans will be back in the stands. It's a home field game, week 1. Last year, we had no fans. These fans are going to be back. These fans are going to be rowdy. They want to see their team. They want to cheer them on. The Titans, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. It's tough to handle that offense, even with the new offensive coordinator. I think they have a pretty talented front seven. The Cardinals, it will be really interesting to see, really, the evolution of the offense under Cliff Kingsbury with Kyler Murray, how much better they look this year. I'm really intrigued to see, how does Chandler Jones look off the injury in week 1? May take a bit of time, right? The chemistry, the continuity of the defense, the offensive line with some new pieces may take a bit of time. So I think the Titans will win the opening game. It will be close. I could see the Cardinals pulling it off even, but I'm going to take the home team here. Week number 2, they play the Minnesota Vikings at home once again. This one's real interesting. I could see it going either way. The challenge for me is the Cardinals defending the receivers of the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, no clear answer there for the Cardinals. Now, if they can get pressure on Kirk Cousins, that will certainly help. If they can defend Dalvin Cook, that will certainly help. But that matchup really scares me. The other matchup that scares me is my faith in Zimmer's defense and his scheme versus Cliff's scheme. I think that's a clear advantage for Minnesota. So as of right now, I have the Vikings. You also have to keep in mind, this is a Patrick Peterson revenge game, folks. So I'm going to go with the Vikings for now. I could see them winning either of these games. And I think if they do win either of these games, they'll be put in a very good position because I think both of these games are real tough. But I think they'll turn it around. So week number 3, they play in Jacksonville. They should be able to pick up this win. This is a Jacksonville team that's very young. Trevor Lawrence, very young, inexperienced at the NFL level. A lot of new on the defense, the coaching staff, right? So this will be actually an engaging coaching matchup because you have a guy that's not too far from college, right, with Cliff, and then you have Urban Meyer, who's basically a college coaching legend. So that'll be a really interesting matchup. So they're 1-2 now. Week number 4, they play the Rams in LA. I think the Rams take the first game. This matchup, all about blocking Aaron Donald and defending Matthew Stafford. I think the key advantage that the Rams have is now with Stafford, the ability to spread teams out and really pick matchups and shred teams through the air. With Jared Goff, they never had that. With Jared Goff, it was always play action based, play action based, play action based. A lot off the run, setting up the pass. Now they can actually just spread teams out and ask Stafford to deliver, and they will do that versus certain teams. I expect the Cardinals to be one of those teams. This could be a back and forth, type of game, but I think the Rams still have a pretty quality defense with one of the only corners that can truly take on an island DeAndre Hopkins. So it is a challenging matchup. Now, later in the year, they play the Cardinals on Monday night. I think they win that game at home. I think they even it up versus the Rams, right? The Cardinals at home, Monday Night Football with your fans in the building. I think they come out big and win that game. Week number 5, you play the Niners for the first time. I think you'll beat the Niners the first game. You have them at home. you've been good versus the Niners. I said this in the Niners record prediction. I think if there is a team in your division you sweep, it's actually the Niners. Even though I think the Niners are going to be very good, I think this is the best matchup for your team because you could focus on defending the run, force whoever their quarterback is to beat your weaker secondary, right? Because that's the weakness of your defense. Kyler Murray seems to give them issues with his mobility. They don't really have a true alpha corner to take away DeAndre Hopkins. So this is the matchup where if you're sweeping a team in your division, it is the Niners, all right? I just don't think it will be the case because, again, guys, I'm not a huge Cliff guy, and I am a huge Kyle guy. And I think Kyle evens that matchup up to make it 1-1 in that Niners-Cardinals matchup. Week number 6, you play the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. I think you lose to the Browns. The Browns, to me, are one of the most talented teams in the AFC. I think their ability to run the football, their ability to stay balanced on offense, and that speed that they have in the front seven will certainly come in handy. They also have a much better secondary this year, which will also be helpful versus a team like the Cardinals. So I have the Browns at home. Then week number 7, the Texans in Arizona. I've got the Cards winning that game easily. The Texans stink. They're awful. They will not have Deshaun Watson, and the Cardinals should easily win that game. I will say this, that's about the only easy game that the Cardinals have in the first 8 weeks of the season. Heck, the first 10 weeks of the season. That and the Jags are like the only easy games they have. Week number 8, though. I've got the Cardinals pulling off the upset at home on Thursday Night Football versus the Packers. Okay? I am really looking forward to the Hopkins-Alexander matchup. That's going to be awesome to watch. As long as you guys can figure out how to cover Devontae Adams, I think this is going to be a Kyler Murray game. I think he's going to take over at home on Thursday, and they're going to upset the Packers in an absolute stunner. I just have a feeling. Week number 10, the Panthers at the Cardinals. This is another game that could be really close, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals here because I think the pass rush of the Cardinals by this point in the season will start to feel themselves a little bit, all right? And I think J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Marcus Golden versus that weaker Panthers offensive line will give them the edge in the game. Week 11, you play the Seahawks in Seattle. I have the Seahawks in Seattle winning that game. Again, I think you're going to split with all the teams in your division. This division is too close to call. And personally, I think going about it with a split for each team, saying that they win. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say the Cardinals win the first game, and I'm going to say the Seahawks win the second game, just because I'm going to vary it a little bit. I'm going to mix it up with you winning an away game instead of the home game all the time in the division, because the odds of that happening are high. So I think the Cardinals overall, and the Seahawks are fairly similar teams, honestly. Like, I think the Seahawks have more of a explosive element to their offense. They have a bit more balance to their offense with the receivers, Russell Wilson, Chris Carson. But their defense in Arizona there, in that front seven specifically, is much better, much more talent involved. I would give the Seahawks a slight advantage, at quarterback and at coach. So that kind of evens out the talent field. I think both these teams have the chance to make the playoffs, both of them. And I could see, both those games being very entertaining, just like they were last year, to be honest. So that moves them into the bye week. And then week 13, they play the Chicago Bears. I actually surprisingly have the Bears upsetting the Cardinals. The Bears are one of those teams where they could upset just about any team. And a lot of it has to do with their front seven. Their front seven is excellent. They could get pressure on any offensive line. They have absolute studs everywhere, including Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks and Eddie Ullman. I think the Bears have the defense to slow down the Cardinals. And I do think there's going to be a game this year where the Cardinals lose to a team they probably shouldn't lose to. I'm going to say this is a Justin Fields game where he comes in, he plays well, he runs the ball well, effectively, and I think the Bears at home will be tough to beat. Then week 15, you play the Lions. I have the Cardinals beating the Lions in this game. This one, the Lions just don't have enough skill to beat the Cardinals. Like, I just don't think they have enough skill. They don't have the receivers. They don't have the corners. They don't really have any big-time playmakers. And that's really why they'll lose. You know, I know the Lions beat the Cardinals last year, but that was with Stafford. They have Jared Goff now. So they're without a doubt one of the worst teams in this conference. Week 16, the Colts and the Cardinals. This one's interesting. I believe I picked the Colts in this game when I did the Colts record prediction. And my reasons behind that is I like the way the Colts are built to defend the Cardinals. They have a lot of front seven athleticism to track down Kyler Murray. They've got a good run defense. They've got a solid foundational scheme out there and system on defense where they really make you beat them down the field. And their offense, I think, with that offensive line, can protect well. Carson Wentz can obviously make plays when his head's on straight. They have many different ways to beat you, running the ball, passing the ball. Frank Reich's an excellent coach. I think this is just one of those difficult matchups that the Cardinals will face. Even though I don't think the Colts are necessarily more talented or better, I just think this is like a challenging matchup overall. Week 17, the Cardinals going to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are probably the lead horse to win the East this year because Dak is back, but I think what I saw last year was too convincing for me not to pick the Cardinals. So even with Dak back, sure, it will be maybe a little bit closer, a little bit higher scoring, but I expect the Cardinals offense to win this game and Kyler Murray to show up big. So the Cardinals, I have finishing 9-8 with a winning record, which I believe is better than last year because I think you went 8-8 last year. So that's a winning record for you guys. It's a step up. But right now, I have the Cardinals in last in the West. I'm sorry. I just do. I just think this division is so good. And really, for me, there's a couple areas that I'm still not convinced about. Okay, so it starts with Cliff Kingsbury. I said it all video. I just don't know if he's really the guy, okay? I just don't know if he is. Kyler Murray needs to take a jump if this team's going to make the playoffs. He really kind of leveled out last year. He had a real nice spark and a real nice step. The question is, can he take the next step? And then the secondary does scare me quite a bit. I still don't know how good your run game's going to be, specifically running backs, and that run game with the offensive line. The offensive line is better, though, and you guys should be better on defense this year. And ultimately, that could be the difference. Like, the Cardinals are a weird team to me because I could really see them making a massive step and being a real good team and being a surprise playoff NFC contender. But I could also see them being, just average. And that's kind of what I see, like a little bit above average. I think if they were in other divisions, they would make the playoffs. Basically any other NFC division. I think if they were in a lot of AFC divisions, they'd make the playoffs. But ultimately, that's not the case. And when you have to play the Rams and the Seahawks and the Niners 6 times, it's just, you're going to get losses there. I have 3 in the division. So, yeah, man, it's unfortunate because I want to see the Cardinals take that next step, but I just don't know if I can see it at this moment in time. Let me know if I'm right. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comment section below and list your reasons why. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give me that record prediction. Gronk spike that like button. Check out the rest of the playlist, and peace.